Now, there have also been confirmed hits in Abu Dhabi and Bahrain, where United States military bases have been attacked. They are talking about the total annihilation of the Iranian regime. We'll take a look at that today, and I have the first images of the initial strikes, which are not just in Tehran. We'll take another look at that in a moment as well. And of course, the most important report is that long-range missiles have now been launched towards Israel, which will probably be available by the end of this video as well, where they hit in Israel. First of all, of course, the most important thing, the German embassy has just issued a warning after the attacks, saying that people should immediately seek shelter. The Houthis are announcing attacks in the Red Sea, specifically to disrupt shipping traffic there. First, let's talk about the confirmed hit in Bahrain. I already showed it to you right at the beginning. There we can see how rockets from Iran are striking the military airbase.
Wahoo rockets, the rockets from there.
I've shown you the air raid alert map here again. So around Haifa, impacts are now expected, but they have not yet been confirmed. They will probably come down there in the next few minutes or be intercepted. That's what the Israeli emergency forces there are hoping for, of course. Netanyahu has already made a statement, which we'll look at first before we move on to the next confirmed hits.
The goal of the operation is to end the threat posed by the Ayatollah regime in Iran. At this hour, the Israel Defense Forces is striking targets of the oppressive regime.
So now it is definitely clear for everyone, and I didn't know that in the first video. It's really very clear. It's about ending the regime now, about overthrowing the regime. And anyone who knows the Israelis a little, and also Donald Trump, there were actually songs of praise sung for Donald Trump, knows that they will only really let up once the Ayatollahs are gone. They want to install a somewhat secure regime there, especially for Israel and also for the United States of America. So at least we have some certainty, but whether this will happen quickly or take a while, none of us knows yet. If you ask me, I think it will take quite some time until the military have also been defeated. And Netanyahu said it again, he would support it if the military surrenders, to be on the right side of history. Everyone in Israel would welcome these people kindly, but before we get back to the war situation, since Hans Wurst just wrote to me, unsubscribe, people are not celebrating in the streets, people have been oppressed there for years. And these are the images I'm getting from Tehran, from those who are using Starlink there, among others. They look absolutely shocked. And it should be said that Israel, as well as the United States of America, have only attacked strategic targets. That about half of all the rockets did not hit or explode because they apparently did not hit their targets accurately. That's what the Pentagon is reporting now.
Oh my God, oh my God.
They have boys there.
Those were images from Abu Dhabi. However, it seems that just like in Israel at the moment, only debris has fallen down. And yes, paranoia. What the press is telling us again looks a bit different to me. Of course, I don't want to deny in any way that there were injured people there, that people were bleeding, or that people have died. I don't want to absolve myself from that, but the people who live back there seem so war-torn that they have a completely different sense of how war actually unfolds. And I think we also see it in Abu Dhabi, that the people there are not living in absolute paranoia, but rather just, oh yeah, the shield will probably save us.
That's what we see here. Yes, that's what we see here.
So in the meantime, we have an update, which means the sirens are wailing over Kuwait. The federal government has now come together to form a crisis team, and they were informed in advance. That means they knew about it sometime beforehand. There are now explosions in Saudi Arabia, especially in the city of Riyadh. I don't have any pictures of that yet. Feel free to write in the comments below if you want to be kept informed about this, especially about how people in the different countries see it. What I see in the news again today just makes me shake my head and ask myself, what's going on with our news? People are out on the streets in Iran, singing, dancing, celebrating wherever there aren't heavy attacks, because they know they're no longer being oppressed, and the news just writes suffering, death, and whatever else. People are so afraid under the regime that they're happy they might finally have a chance to be freed. We have to accept that, because we have to accept every other person in every other country. We can't just talk that away. They spread their culture and law. Now they've started bombing the Kurdish regions again, where the Revolutionary Guards have their bases, that is, the War Guard. I'll show them to you again. It has now expanded. That means they're not just targeting the nuclear bunkers that existed, or rather the nuclear structures they attacked this morning. They're now also going after the Revolutionary Guards. Shortly after Netanyahu said that anyone who wants to surrender now can surrender. It's about 45 minutes later now, which means these bases are now being bombed, and I think today is going to be quite an eventful day. How the whole situation will develop, I don't know. What's your opinion on this? Write it in the comments below. Do you see it as a good thing to end such a regime, or do you say no, this is a violation of international law?
Our goal is to defend the American people by eliminating immediate threats from the Iranian regime, a cruel group of very tough, terrible people. Their threatening activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases abroad, and our allies around the world.
They look absolutely shocked, and it must be said that both Israel and the United States of America have only attacked strategic targets. That about half of all the rockets did not hit or explode because they apparently did not hit their targets accurately. That's what the Pentagon is currently reporting.